The value of silence. There is a saying like this: learning to speak takes only 2 years, but learning to be silent takes a lifetime. The truth is, most successful people always know how to speak in the right way, at the right time. They will never speak without a reason and will never say meaningless things because it will waste their time if they make a mistake. To them, speech is a kind of training in life because good things, if said correctly, will easily promote success and achieve the success they want. A smart person understands that silence is not the reluctance to accept defeat, nor is it weakness. Silence is an art that you have to spend a lot of time to master, in many cases. Your humble silence is worth more than 1,000 words. Let's listen and contemplate together. First, words can never be taken back. The Lama who lived in the 1st century BC used to say, "I often regret what I say but never regret my silence." Words help people understand each other and get closer, but sometimes a word can ruin all good relationships. Words can make others happy, but an unintentional word or attention can also hurt people deeply, if you keep the habit of saying everything without thinking. As long as you can say your point of view, and regardless, there will be times when you say things that are not right or even hurt the other person, so you need to learn how to control yourself and keep silent at the right time. Because sometimes honest words have no meaning, but if you don't say it, it's better. If you don't say it, others will not be able to understand what you mean, and there will be no contradictions. For a long time, we have thought that silence will make many people feel suffocated. Every one of us used to feel uncomfortable when there was nothing to say, leading to trying to say things that are romantic or even meaningless. It all depends on what kind of situation you are in. If your friend is in trouble and needs to be shared, then give them some space to say what's deep in their hearts. No one knows if what you say will make them feel better or not, but once you say something, you can't take it back, so be careful. Don't let your words become a weapon to hurt others. Second, silence is gold. Silence is the highest level of human intelligence. Based on that intelligence, we will know when to speak and what to say. Silence is not to speak when it's not necessary because it can bring harm to yourself or others. Silence is to listen to others, to learn, to show respect. Silence is to show calmness, to think straight, to be aware of yourself and life before speaking or acting. Silence is to maintain harmony. Silence is to express empathy, to share the pain of others. Silence is to feel the beauty of life around you, to nurture your soul. Silence is to love, to forgive, and to live. Silence is sometimes the best answer. If what you say doesn't contribute anything, keep quiet. You can have this kind of behavior at work, sometimes in a hot way, or because you are too agitated. I'm sure no one likes people like that. Fifth, when it's not a place to speak. Think about it. You're trying to talk to someone who doesn't understand or doesn't want to understand your point of view. You can't change them, and they never think you're right, so keep quiet and use your words in other meaningful conversations. In fact, listening, being fully focused, that is, listening positively, is very rare. Understanding and having the ability to listen positively can lead you to new insights, expand your knowledge, and improve the relationships around you. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes we need to talk, even talk a lot, to benefit others, to reconcile, to harmonize and empathize, or to protect the truth. However, sometimes we need to keep quiet. At that time, silence is much more valuable. Pythagoras once said, "Silence is the highest level of wisdom." Those who don't know how to be silent, don't know how to speak. Silence to listen more, to learn more, and to be more peaceful. Silence to avoid unnecessary words, to avoid anger that hurts others. Silence is to share, to sympathize. Silence is to love and forgive. That is the value of silence. At the end of today's video, I invite you to listen to the story of a poor man, a beggar, and the gift of a kind heart. Victor was born into a poor family in England. His parents had to work to make a living. Although they lived in poverty, not all of them lost their integrity, kindness, when Victor was a child. He met a poor beggar who begged for food. It was the middle of winter, and it was snowing outside. The poor beggar was hungry and cold. His mother only had a few pennies in her hand, but she gave it all to the poor beggar. Victor looked at his mother and felt very confused. His mother told Victor, "If we eat a little, we can save a life." Just like that, Victor grew up in a situation where he always witnessed his father and mother's words and kindness. A few years later, Victor grew up. Once he met his friends, he met a beautiful girl. Very soon after that, the two of them fell in love. But the girl's father was a judge who didn't want his daughter to marry a poor young man with only 2 white hands. So he said, when you find enough 10,000 friends, I'll tell you about this marriage. 10,000 friends? For a young man who has just come out of society, it's really impossible. Victor was disappointed. He went to his good friend to talk to him. Daniel, Victor's friend, was a young painter who was drawing a portrait of a beggar. He invited a beggar to be his model. The beggar wore an old book shirt, was not human, had a broken elbow, and a hand holding a bowl facing forward. On his forehead, there were a few wrinkles. Victor looked so moved because he remembered the old painter standing in front of his house. They talked for a while. He knew that his friend would pay the beggar 10,000 yuan per hour. Victor was not ashamed because of his friend's stinginess. At that time, the beggar in front of his house reported that there was someone looking for Daniel, so he hurried away and let Victor sit with the beggar. Victor saw the poor figure of the beggar and took out a banknote. The time of Daniel had not yet returned. Victor quickly stuck the banknote in the hand of the beggar. The beggar looked up and looked at Victor a little surprised, then accepted without saying a word. Then, in a group of friends, Victor met Daniel again. The friend asked to see if Daniel's painting of the beggar had been completed. Daniel told Victor that the beggar painter was Emperor Alfred Adler, a famous aristocrat. His business was numerous. Every year, he donated a large amount of money to organizations and universities. He was afraid to let Daniel paint himself as a beggar, also out of curiosity. He wanted to know when he was a beggar, what his appearance would be like. When Victor heard this situation, he felt extremely ashamed because of his arrogance at that time. He was a rich man, and he was only a poor Englishman who dared to gamble. He didn't know how to make a living. Not long after, Victor received a letter from Emperor Alfred Adler in which he wrote, "Young man, I am proud of your honest and kind heart. I was told by Daniel about your beautiful love story. This letter may help you turn that beautiful love story into reality." In the letter, there was also a congratulatory card with a 10,000 English notes which read as follows: a wedding gift for Victor and Mrs. Alastair. A bouquet of brocade as a gift. Ladies and gentlemen, life is always fair. If you treat this person well, that person may not answer you right away. But in the future, they or someone else will have a chance to answer you. So don't hesitate to give away when you have a chance, just give away. You will receive 100,000 times of love. Give love to receive love. And what is received is sometimes even more than once. That is happiness. That is tranquility in the soul, that is also the value that cannot be measured. The love and help that we receive in the present or future is the sweet fruit of the love that we have given away, so let's share and give away the good things to receive the joy in the soul, the happiness in life. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Goodbye and see you again.